Shooters Connection offers products for competition shooters by competition shooters. With over 80 years of combined competition shooting experience, Shooters Connection is staffed by master and grandmaster shooters who live the shooting sports every day. We offer same-day shipping. Shooters Connection also sponsors over 100 of your matches every single year. So when it comes to finding everything you need to compete as a beginner or a seasoned grandmaster, Shooters Connection is the only name you need to know. Online at shootersconnectionstore.com.
All right, guys, welcome back to the Hit Factor. We have a special show for you tonight. One, it might be special because technology is like we don't know what's going to happen, like because we're using our old, like we're going like old school, like with Skype and Audacity, and because we have a guest, and like so if you guys are watching on video, if this makes it on YouTube or not, and you see our guest, he actually lives in a place that doesn't even have electricity yet. So very, so if he doesn't have electricity, you know he doesn't have internet. But no, we have Jay Beal on with us tonight, so we're gonna go through a bunch of questions with him. But like, okay, Jay has been on before, but it's been a while, and because
Yeah.
we had a former get, I mean not a former, but a listener is like, hey, you guys need to like introduce yourselves again. So we had to introduce ourselves again, like kind of introduce just like quick, like who is Jay Beal other than a goat farmer?
Yeah, other than a goat farmer, I um I have a really, really strong passion for shooting and competing. Um and it like consumes most of my life. Uh and I so I the training is kind of like just nonstop. It's and I don't compete as much as I would like to just because of the area main, but I I don't know. The intro stuff is tricky, but anyway, I'm a USPSA Grandmaster, and I travel around as much as I can to shoot, and I train a lot, and I have so much fun doing it. That's about it.
When did you
Yeah.
start?
So yeah, there
Yeah,
you go.
yeah, that's better. I I think this is like my fourth or fifth year. So I started in fall 2017.
Okay. Yeah. It's kind of interesting that there's so many people that I talk to that started around that same time.
Yeah,
Like like yeah, it seems like all the people that are kind of in this circle, I don't know, started around that time, like 16, 17. There's just a lot of people that started around that time.
So
yeah,
that like that makes sense because like that year three, year four, like you've like that's when people like get good, like they've had enough time to like figure the sport out and like maybe make some mistakes and be able to fix those mistakes. Like they've traveled to enough matches, they understand it, and like that's when like so like you're figuring the sport out. Like you've had like mostly a positive trajectory like the whole way through that up to that point because like
hmm
because everything's new. And so like you're like that year three, year four, year five, that's when everybody's like the most excited about shooting.
Yeah,
um
yeah.
because
yeah,
every like you've had success and everything's looking positive at that point. And so I mean that makes sense that you see a lot of people that are really active right now have been in the
yeah.
sport for that amount
And
of time.
it's interesting too because that around this time frame is the same of when people like get out, like they stop, they
Yep.
quit,
Right. Yeah, they hit that plateau and
and
it's
they're done.
they're either gonna figure it out or cut it, you know?
Yeah, yeah. So it's a definitely, yeah, it's interesting.
Yeah, for sure. So like other thing like people need to know about Jay if they don't know about it, like he's like the dry fire like master. Like he has like this dry fire dojo that I mean like I have a great setup for shooting where I'm at. But like his dry fire setup, basically you have like a full size basement. Is that basically right? And it's like all just like dry fire.
Yeah, yeah. It's currently that way. I mean, like my wife and we keep on moving more things that are not dry fire related down there. So it's bound to happen. But yeah, it was built for dry fire, so it's good.
So like he's like running like full size swingers, like
Mm-hmm.
walls, like ports, fault lines. Like he's
Yeah,
setting up like mini stages, like real targets. in your dry fire setup.
Yeah, yeah. And I think there are other people doing it, but at least I'm the only one posting about it, maybe.
I mean, I
Interesting.
think it's fairly unique. I haven't seen anybody with like that dedicate like that big of a dedicated space, which
Yeah.
is awesome.
No,
Yeah.
it's pretty sweet. I'm definitely like, I'm happy to have it. I wasn't always that way. The first couple of years I was doing this, I was in like a tiny area.
Yeah.
And I didn't post any videos about that because
Right.
so it's
Mhm.
But
funny.
the offside of that is you don't actually shoot that many rounds in a year, right?
No, I don't. And that's just because like financially I'm not in a spot right now where I can just do that.
Mm-hmm.
Um, and also like the way things are right now, it's kind of tricky to do that too.
Well, I mean, everybody's kind of coming back. They're like everybody's being forced to like, how has Jay been doing this? Like, how is he so good without any ammo? Because none of us have ammo now. So it's like, I mean, like,
Right.
so like when you're saying you don't shoot a lot, I'm saying you don't shoot a whole lot. Like what was your total rounds shot last year? If you, like ballpark, if you don't know exactly.
I can't remember exactly. I have it written down and stuff. I think last year was around 4,000, which was more than the year before. I think the year before was like 3,000. And then this year will be in training. It'll be 4,000, and then plus matches. So it'll be like more this year than it has been. And that feels
Yeah.
like a lot. It feels like a lot to me. But
Mhm.
like if I had more than that, I would be like, what am I supposed to do with all this? But I think like I'm gonna progress up to that. Like that's the plan, to start shooting more,
Yeah.
because there's value in that as well.
Oh yeah.
I
As
mean, I don't
everyone
know how.
knows.
Yeah, I don't know how you do it because like if I shot that few rounds, like every time I picked up the gun, it would be like, wow, what is this explosion that's going off my hands? What am I supposed to do with that? So like, how do you? I mean, like obviously, like if you're only shooting that many rounds, like you can't stay totally like dialed in with like the recoil control and stuff like that as far as like the gun actually going off. So how do you stay in a state that like when you go shoot, there's not this big because you can't afford to have 100 rounds to get used to the gun again. Like that's your
No,
whole practice session.
yeah. So
Mhm.
like if I think it's just planning around like the matches that I shoot. So if I know that a match that I care about is coming up, like 2 months in advance, I'm gonna be shooting. I'm gonna be shooting like multiple days a week, in through the week, lower round counts. But then when it gets up to the match, like it's so familiar because I've been shooting like 4 or 5 days a week. So it's not like a separation. Like I don't have to do that
Okay.
adaptation period. So I don't feel like, the funny thing is like, even though it sounds off, but I don't feel like it's a disadvantage to be in my circumstance, because I don't know, even if I could shoot like a lot, but it would have to be once a week. I don't know. I don't know. It'd be weird. Like,
So like you're saying you shoot 3 or 4 times a week. I mean, you got to be talking like 50 rounds. Like you go
yeah,
like
sometimes less, and we talked about this on the others episode. So if people want to check it out,
yeah.
but it's, yeah, sometimes it's like 20 rounds. It's like a mag, so I'll go out and do like a mag of doubles, um, and then come back. And it's easy too, because like I can shoot kind of around wherever,
Hmm.
and I can throw up a target, and shoot a mag of doubles. Throw the target back in, and I'm done in like 5 minutes. And
Mhm.
then from that, you learn, you can pull pieces that you learned about your grip, and then just go and dry fire doubles, the same thing, which has been doing a ton this year too. Um, and so like that would be what I'm talking about, like every day of the week. But then during, maybe one of those days I'll go out and shoot 100 rounds and work on some different stuff. Uh, but that's kind of what I'm talking about. It's a
Yeah.
mag or two consistently.
That's fascinating.
it feels so normal to me now. So
Yeah.
it's funny. Like I love it. I love this kind of. I love the way I train right now. And I guess it would just be nice to shoot more. But again, it's like I don't know how I would shoot more. But
Yeah. I mean, yeah, like you've definitely developed your system that obviously works really well for you. Have you shot a nationals yet?
yeah, I shot 2020, and then
Okay,
I didn't shoot 21 because we had a kid. You know,
understandable.
it's almost like you can plan those out, but also who plans those out? So.
Right? Yeah, yeah. Even if you can try to plan it, but it's still doesn't work.
That's the other thing about all those people that started shooting in 2016, 2017. Like they all have infants now.
Yeah, that's it. That's it too.
Hmm.
All right, we didn't cover it. Jeff, you said you were having a good bourbon night. What do you got tonight?
The Kentucky Spirit, is that what it's
Oh, you
called?
do? Yeah.
Yeah, I have like half a pour left, so. But it was good. It's good tonight. It's not too hot tonight for me. So.
That's good. It's only 101 proof.
Is that what it was? I thought it was like. No, I don't know. Well, maybe that's why it's not too hot then.
Kentucky Spirit's only 101. Rare breed is 116. If you've had rare before, that's 116. So
No, this one's good.
I almost opened mine tonight, but I didn't. I have some Peerless. I haven't had the Peerless in a while. I've been kind of killing some other bottles, but it's good. But I tried something tonight, Jeff, that like this is up your alley. I mean, I'm assuming, Jay, that like you're in your goat barn, so I'm
Goat
assuming
milk?
you don't have
Got a
anything.
glass of goat milk there?
I mean, I could go get some goat milk. No, I have water and then like some spicy almonds. You know, I'm good to go.
Some
Oh,
spice.
nice. Are they
But
like the wasabi almonds?
No, I love the wasabi ones. These ones are the sriracha ones, which are
Oh, okay.
also super good. But my
Do they
phone's
make a Frank's one?
oh, maybe. I don't know. But my
I
phone's
haven't seen it.
resting on the container of nuts, so I can't even eat them right now. So it's too
Oh my
bad.
goodness. No,
Oh,
my
yeah.
favorite ones are the salt and vinegar almonds.
Ooh, I've had those before, I think too.
Yeah.
Good stuff.
Almonds are they're like supposed to be healthy to eat, right? Like they're supposed to be good for you.
I think
mean, they
so.
have like some healthy fats in them and a little bit of protein.
I mean, I don't know. Like I was asking, but I don't know. But okay, so Jeff, I have something for you tonight. So like one of my favorite desserts is just like vanilla ice cream with a brownie. Like
Yeah.
just like the box brownies. Like they don't need to be fancy brownies. I like my favorite brownies are just the box brownies. No
Box,
pot.
you mean like you buy like the box of batter and then you make the brownies?
Yeah, you just add eggs and oil
Okay, yeah.
yeah,
Right.
those are like my favorite brownies. But so
Yeah.
tonight I was like, what if on my brownie I just poured some bourbon into the brownie and let that kind of soak into it real good? Dude,
Yeah.
that'd be bussin', yo. Like
Bussin'?
that is bussin'. Like there's no doubt that is bussin'.
I don't know if I'll try that. Maybe.
You got
And
it, dude. You got to try it.
I like am not really a fan of bourbon flavored things. Like I like bourbon, but like I especially like cream and bourbon. Like I don't really like creamy alcohol.
Really. That's kind of
Yeah.
interesting. Like so
Like
this doesn't like it doesn't really like because there's so much sweet in the ice cream and the brownies that like
yeah.
you don't really get like the bourbon flavor, like the sweetness overcomes it, but it gives you like a little bit of like there's almost like a little bit of spice in there, almost kind of.
Yeah.
I don't know, maybe you wouldn't like
I
it,
don't know.
but
Maybe I'll try it, but I hate to ruin a brownie and bowl ice cream.
you can you can just take like a small bite of brownie and just try it on just like a 2-biter piece of brownie, right? Like don't drench your entire brownie. That way you can try it
Gotcha.
and
If I
make a
don't like it, I
video
can.
and see if it's busting or not.
See if
You'll
it's
be
bussin'.
forced to say the word bussin'.
So okay, we had some friends over last night and I said something about bussing, and and some people were like, "What are you talking about?" I was like, "Oh, it comes from this video. Like, you got to watch this video." So I pulled up this video from that Captain Crunch syrup, and that
Yeah.
I assume he's from Oklahoma. Like, literally I assume that guy is from Oklahoma. He may not be, maybe West Virginia or something. But like, if people haven't seen this, like the Captain Crunch syrup, like, and he's like, is it busting? We face to find out. Ha ha!
I have not seen this. I gotta watch.
You
it.
haven't? Okay,
No.
we've got to send it to you. But like, so I thought that was the origination of bussin'. Like, because that's the first time I've heard it.
Mm.
But apparently it's not. We had like some of the friends like that were over, like their teachers, and like, no, the kids say bussin' all the time. Like, and I was like, oh, well, I thought I was, I didn't think I was like hip with the kids. I thought it was cool because of that meth head on Instagram. That's that. And then I realized, oh, okay, I'm just old and late to the party.
Yeah, I'm not surprised that we
Did
weren't
you-
on the front edge of that trending word.
Did you
Yeah, I'm not
know that
surprised.
was a word that people like other than meth heads used?
No, but I also just assumed that I was behind. Like, I just assumed that word's been being used.
Oh, yeah, I didn't.
Yeah.
I'm just old.
I mean, I think in general, us people in the middle part of the country here, we're like 6 months to a year behind the coastal areas. So like they start doing something and then it kind of drifts inland, and
That's
then we hear about
probably
it.
Yeah. Jay's on the cutting edge, but I don't know if
Yeah.
like
Well,
Yeah,
no,
Jay's
definitely
doing
not.
about it.
like a goat farm in the Pacific coast. Is that what would you Pacific Northwest?
Yeah.
No, Northeast, not Northeast.
Northeast. Yeah, Northeast. Kind of on the coast, but like far away from any. Like I'm like, yeah, no, I'm definitely not on the cutting edge. I didn't even know
What-
bussin' was a word.
Well, I don't think it's
Never
a
heard it.
word.
Well, like an expression. I never heard it before until you said it in the Discord, and I was like, "What's bussin'?" I didn't even like do some research. So people in the Discord, you got to throw up the video of the that that Jeremy's talking about.
Yeah, we
Yeah,
need
it's
to.
in there.
It's there's like a link
Oh, is
to
it
it.
in there?
Yeah,
Oh, well. It's
Yeah,
got to be we have to pin that link so that everybody
Yeah.
can know.
yeah, we do need to. Because you're gonna if you don't know that and you're in the Discord, like you're gonna be missing out on a lot of stuff.
Yeah, that would be me right
Yeah.
now, up until now.
Yeah.
Yeah, there's
Alright, so-
actually a bussin' GIF or GIF, whatever you want to call it, of that guy saying
Oh.
bussin'.
Yeah, totally. I probably scrolled by that and was like, I don't know.
Yeah, someone already made that GIF. It wasn't me. So
See, and there's more than one videos of him on Instagram, like
yeah,
trying different stuff. Because I've seen
But-
other videos of him.
but the Captain Crunch syrup one is the best.
I mean, like he takes this blue Captain Crunch syrup and then he puts it on ice cream that already was drenched in caramel syrup and other like I think it had like M&Ms or something like that on it. Like it was already drenched in stuff.
Oh my gosh.
That's one of the best videos Instagram's ever produced.
It's pretty solid.
So we just wrapped up. This is coming out, and we have just wrapped up our reload challenge.
Yeah.
So Jay and I were talking about this a little bit. Jeff, like, I want to hear about your experience because, like, Jeff was on there. Like, Jeff, like he made the rules. He's like, I want this reload challenge to be like, you guys are like bloody knuckles, like going as hard as you can. I want extreme speed, like you're only like hitting 1 out of 100, like go nuts, like that's what we want from this challenge.
Yeah.
And Jeff posted his video, which if you're not on the Discord, like you should join the Discord and go look under that and find Jeff's video. And I don't know if I would describe Jeff's reload as what he was looking for in this in this
Explain
challenge?
yourself, Jeff. Explain yourself.
I mean, for me, it was. Um, like I think that ceiling can be pushed, honestly, and I did.
Mhm.
But like that reload that I posted, like that was a damn fast reload for me. Like to even like see what was going on. Like and I think that's kind of like a comment that Jeremy said in the Discord earlier today about like me growing as a shooter might be painful.
You're talking physically painful, right? Yeah.
Yeah, I think it's gonna require that, like pushing quite a bit outside that comfort zone on the speed side to make some gains, and then just making faster feel more comfortable, and then you back it off 10%, and now you have a new top end that you can function at.
Yeah.
But yeah, I mean, dude, I was going hard. Like I could have brought the percentage down even more and like tried to go harder, but I mean, I was hurting my fingers. My hands were sore.
That's
Uh,
good.
I dinged up my guns more than I really wanted to. That's the other thing, I don't want to like wreck my polymer guns and have to go buy a new one.
No, it's
Um,
okay. They just get wrecked to a certain point, and then you don't care anymore, and none of the ROs care. No one cares.
Yeah,
Just keep
right.
pressing them.
Do the mags like still fall out of them if they're wrecked?
Dude, that's when you take your pocket knife and like cut any material that is blocking the mag from falling, and you're good.
yeah,
Oh my gosh.
Totally
Your
fine.
mag's just like wobbling inside the gun. Just
Yeah,
like,
it shakes around. It's totally fine.
yeah.
dude,
I
that
mean,
actually
like,
distracted me when I was shooting the other day. I like went to load the gun and it was like looser in the gun than I was used to. And I thought that it was about to fall out, so I like had to like stop and hit the mag, but I was like, nope, it's fine. It's just rattling.
aren't those disposable guns anyway?
I mean, for some people. Not
I thought
me.
I thought that's why you got it. I thought they were kind of like the disposable gloves, like
Yeah.
use them a couple times and get another one.
Well, I don't want to. I don't like buying things.
I get it.
But yeah, I mean, yes, I know my reload was underwhelming to the masses. I get it. But most of my shooting is underwhelming to the masses. So it doesn't surprise me. And I was very pleased with everyone else's entries and how fast they were. So yeah, that was awesome.
No, we did get a lot of good entries, and like it was cool to see because like people like there were lots of people that like they posted a video like early on, and then like you could see them like they'd come back like 3 days later and like they would put a new video up and delete their first one.
Yeah.
Uh,
Uh-huh.
and it's because they're like they were grinding, man, and like some people were talking about like they were like grinding like for like hundredths of it. Like this reload was like 200ths of a second faster than this one, so I'm gonna post this
Yeah,
one.
I was totally not doing that at all.
You're right. So Jay,
It was-
so you like I had to call you out because like we were like the last day, like okay, Jay hasn't posted, and Jay was the guy that I predicted to win this, so it's like okay, he's got to post something. So I called Jay out, and he's like, so he finally did last day, like late submission, he got it in.
Yeah.
So like how was this challenge for you?
Well, it was like, well, it's really funny because I recorded that video like way early on. I was like, well, okay, and then I wasn't gonna do it until you called me out. But the whole thing, it was like a really good reminder of, and we're talking about reloads and stuff, but like the idea of building a skill and like learning how to learn. And you do that so well early on in like when you like start out doing something new.
Mm-hmm.
And it's hard to do something new when nothing is new. And so
Yeah.
like when you go, and we were talking about this early before we started to record, but like you push yourself so hard that you're hurting yourself, you're feeling all the tension come in, and you start to learn stuff. And so like that process was cool. And it was like, even if it just reminds me that like, yeah, tension doesn't help. So like extra tension is
Mhm.
not helpful. And that then can be applied to everything in, shooting related.
Yeah, for sure.
Like, and also in the mind, like mental tension doesn't help. Like none of the, so I don't know. It was a pretty cool challenge, and then plus the competition, like part to it, where like it's funny because you like you you post a video on the Discord or whatever, like you upload it, and your heart rate goes up. You're like, wow,
Yeah.
you're like interesting.
Yeah.
And so it's really funny. Like I don't know, it was pretty fun. It was really cool, and I hope there are more challenges too going forward.
Yeah, I have some plans. Like the reload one is like it was so easy to do, like
Yes.
because it's like this one specific skill that all divisions have to do. Like that you can do it. Like we could do it dry fire. So like there's like literally anybody can do it. If you own a gun, a holster, and a mag. Well, you don't even have the holster. If you own a gun, a belt, and a mag pouch, like you can do it.
Yeah.
That like finding more challenges like that might be harder. So like it may
Yeah.
turn into more kind of like almost like mini stage or drill type things that maybe people do with like live ammo. Um, so like we may be doing more stuff like that. But I think it's because that could still be cool too. Almost
Yeah.
like a postal match type thing, almost.
Yeah. The competition side of it would be hard to do outside of. It's so hard to do something that's like by numbers with it without being super organized. But even if it's like, yeah, people doing drills and then you bring somebody off the Discord to talk about it on an episode or something like that, would be cool.
Yeah, yeah, for sure. So my video was like I was just going for like ultimate ridiculousness. Like so like I cut the sleeves off my shirt, which I'd never like I don't own a sleeveless shirt. Like I never do that. And then I just took like one of those sleeves and used it as a headband. And then I was trying to make it like cool. So like I got on YouTube, like I have a TV in my shop. And so like I got on YouTube and like just like Googled like patriotic music. And so like I was just like, it was just supposed to be like some patriotic music. But then like the music that was like actually playing for like my 3 second clip was wasn't that it wasn't all that great. But so then I used like a single stack with no magwell at all, which I was kind of surprised. Like when I wasn't trying, like how many loads I actually hit. But when I was trying to go fast, like the like I missed so many times that it was really hard to make myself keep going hard at it. And then
Yeah.
for me, the hardest part was reestablishing my grip because you miss so many times, you never actually complete that motion. And so then like the time where the mag goes in the gun, it's like you have to complete that motion right away. And like I could not get a little bit of a pause out of it. Not in the time I had, not with no magwell. And so there's a little pause when the mag goes in, and I couldn't make myself go harder. I was trying, and I couldn't. So I was just going for ultimate ridiculousness because Jeff said it needed to be impressive. I think it's going to be between Jay and Scott Brown because Scott Brown's reload was pretty ridiculous. I mean, he was cheating with it. Well, he came back and posted a single stack one.
I mean,
with the magwell.
Most people were wearing like shirts when they were doing their reloads. There was somebody Potato for Hire was not wearing a shirt, which I don't know. Who knows like what the judging the criteria will be for Travis to do this. So it'll be interesting.
Travis might like the dad bod type, and I think Potato for Hire had that. I have to say, like, okay, Potato for Hire and is it Ryan? Dude, I thought I got those two people mixed up because they look very similar, at least in their like their videos, and their reload technique is actually pretty similar. And so like they posted, I'm like, wait, haven't you already posted? And then I'm going back and looks like, well, you posted again, like, and then they were like talking about each other's like videos. I'm like, what is going on here? And I finally figured out, okay, Ryan is he is the mixologist. Like drink, like the dude, like if you're not on Discord, you got to go in there and go in the drink section, and like he's mixing up some like crazy good looking drinks. And
Yeah,
Potato
he
for
posted
Hire.
recipes for us too.
Yeah, like so there's all sorts of good stuff on there. And Potato for Hire, I don't know if he's because he seems like he's buddies with the Viking or the Swede, or I like to call him the Dane now because he doesn't want to be called the Dane. And apparently he's racist against. I don't know how this works over there. Like I think he's racist against like Norwegians, but I don't know if that's a. I don't know if like if you're. I don't know, like, is that race thing or a nationality? I don't actually know. But he doesn't like him. At least he says he doesn't. And then, so I don't know if Potato for Hire is Norwegian. Like if he has that, I don't know. But it's fun. So I had a lot of fun with the
It
reload.
seems like a topic that maybe you shouldn't talk about.
It's fine. It's okay.
And is anybody surprised that Jeremy got people confused?
No, nobody's surprised.
No, is
No.
anybody surprised?
But I think I did have I had a Rocky reference in the Discord today that I think was accurate, wasn't it? About the raw eggs.
Oh yeah.
I don't know.
Doesn't
I
he eat raw eggs?
He drank raw eggs in Rocky. That is yes.
Okay. I feel like that's a win.
I don't think it was a dozen. It was like not a dozen, but yeah. He drank raw eggs. That's where it came from. That's what like popularized it, I think. Though I believe the article that I posted about Vince Gironda, Vince was before Rocky's time, I believe.
Well, yeah, because I read part of that article. It was actually really long, but like apparently, like, did you read it? I assume you read it.
I didn't read it, but I know who Vince Gironda is.
Okay, so how they came up. So Jeff posted this video. We got somebody on the Discord that like they've posted like a couple fail attempts of trying to bench press like 225. And so like I asked like if they like maybe you should try steroids like that should help, like that works for a lot of people. And Jeff posted a link about that you could just eat like 36 eggs a day and that will give your body will react to that in the same way or better, even better than steroids.
So and that was Vince Gironda's claim. That was his claim, and he was like he owned a gym. Like Arnold trained at his gym. Some of the first Olympians trained at his gym, and he claimed natural, like he never took steroids, and he thought everybody that worked at his gym never took steroids, though we know Arnold and all those other guys did take steroids. So, yeah.
But
anyway,
how they came up with that, which the article that you linked, like part of how they came up with that is that I think it was in Britain, the UK. I'll just call it the UK. I think that keeps me safe from like single out like Ireland and Scotland or something. I don't know. They're all the same. It's UK. But like they were doing research on burn victims and they were having these burn victims eat like 36 eggs in a day. And they were like, and so then like their, what was it? Was it the nitrogen that was in, like, it was like a nitrogen type balance, like that's in your blood, that you're boosting through that was helping them recover faster from burns. And so then that's kind of where that came from. It was actually kind of fascinating to read about it.
Yeah.
I can't imagine eating 36 eggs a day. Like,
yeah, that sounds crazy.
I mean, lots of people have done it, and I've also read like testimonies or experiences from people that have tried it, and then they just end up like shitting out whole eggs because their body just can't digest them.
Yeah,
this is what people are missing out on. Like, if you're a part of if you want a part of this conversation, like get on the Discord. Like, go find it, join. It's free to join right now.
Yeah, that's not going to last for forever. Like that content like that cannot be free for very long.
No.
Yeah, I would think you would have to be like to eat 36 eggs a day. Like you got to be in the gym like 3 or 4 times a day. Like, right? Like you got to just be burning so many calories that your body needs that much protein.
Well, hold on.
I feel like Jeff Jeff needs to like. What do you think would be like? Can we have you do 24 eggs a day for like a month and just see what kind of gains you get?
I did
That'd
a
be good.
dozen a day for quite a while.
No, that's not enough.
That's only 2,500 calories.
Is a dozen?
No, 36.
Really?
Yeah, 70. Usually about roughly 70 calories per egg times 36.
Wow.
Okay, I want you to eat 2 dozen eggs a day for a month and report
No,
back to us.
I don't need to get any heavier. I need to get a little bit lighter. No, I'm
Well,
good. But I was like buying those. What do they come in 36? Do they come in 36?
They do, I
Yeah.
think.
Yeah.
Yeah, I would go buy like a couple of those, and I was eating like a dozen a day, mostly raw.
Dang.
I didn't make any gains, so, but I also don't train very smartly, so.
Dozen eggs a day raw. Wow.
Yeah.
That still
People are
seems
too scared of
massive.
raw eggs, man. Like the chances of you getting sick from that are pretty dang slim, especially if you're a healthy individual.
Oh, it just sounds gross.
Yeah, it's just not normal like what you think about. I'm not thinking about like E. coli
you're
or
not-
something like that. I'm just thinking, just like raw egg piece.
Oh yeah.
Just not normal,
Yeah.
Jeff.
Well, the other thing is, I don't know. We shouldn't really get into this, but like cooking food increases the calorie content, basically. Not
Mm.
really, but cooking food increases the amount of nutrients that your body can absorb from it. So like eating like half a dozen or a dozen raw eggs, like your body's not absorbing as much of that as it would as if they were cooked.
Did you
And
eat your
that's
steaks raw?
steaks.
Yeah. Did you eat your steaks raw?
I didn't have any steaks. What are you talking about?
Oh.
No.
Did you eat your bologna raw?
You cook bologna?
I mean, if it's a hot dog, yeah.
What do you? I don't even know what you're talking about. A bologna hot dog?
Hot dog is bologna. Like it's the same thing. It's just one's in a hot dog.
No, you're wrong.
Okay.
You're completely wrong. Anyway,
All right, you got
Um,
podcast questions.
yeah, we have a ton of questions, so we've already been on here for freaking 40 minutes.
Well, man, maybe it's time for Shooter's Connection then. I don't know.
Oh
It is
yeah,
time for
it
Shooter's
is.
Connection.
Look at
And
that.
then we do
have-
questions.
our guest is like keeping us in line. Like he's better at this than we are, and we're like what 150 episodes into this, and this is Jay's second episode.
Oh my gosh. I'm just gonna like get Jay on the phone whenever we record to keep me on track.
Yeah, I don't need to be there, but I'll just be like, all right, and
Yeah.
let's go. Switching
Yeah, he's
topics.
like the producer. Hey, it's time for this. Do it.
Talked about raw eggs for 18 minutes.
Pretty much.
No, it's good. This is what the people want. The people want it. This is.
I mean, like you are. I mean, you are a listener, so like you. I
Yeah.
mean, like you do. Like I do wonder. Like okay, like does like people get sick of like this chit chat? Like because I'll chase a rabbit, right? Like raw eggs, like with it. We did
Yeah.
chase for 18 minutes.
No, I don't know if it was 18 minutes, but it was close. Yeah, no, I mean,
Probably was.
people, yeah, if they don't want to listen to it, then like those aren't the people you want listening to your podcast anyway. Like you want the people who are just like they hang out, they like to listen to you guys talk because it's good.
I love that Jay said that, not me, because people. If I said it, people would hear like, "Get out of here! I don't want no listeners."
Yeah, now you guys are just gonna lose a whole bunch of listeners. Oh, so sorry.
Yeah. And Jeremy is the master of chasing rabbits on this thing. He'll
Oh,
be like, we'll just be trying to like get through a freaking conversation. He'll be like, so that's actually an interesting topic. You want to dive into that? No, I don't.
But you always do, because you're too, like
Yeah,
you're,
you do.
like, you won't
Yeah,
ever
Jeff,
like be quiet.
Right.
Yeah, Jeff, you are very willing to dive in, so it's okay.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, that's my personality.
Thanks,
So,
Jay's sticking up for me. Jay needs to be like a permanent on this show.
right.
If we can get internet at Jay's house, then
Hey, I mean, like for most of my entire time listening to this podcast, ever since I've been on, I've thought that Jeremy like hated me, so I'm just trying to make up for it. So. Okay.
that's a good. I feel like that's a good place to be. Like if I can make people think I don't like them, then they'll suck up to me.
Yeah.
That sounds good.
Dang, you're really that it worked.
I'm smart.
I don't think it has that effect on most people. They're like, oh, he hates me. I should try to make him like me.
Probably
No,
not.
I don't think that's how most people take that. But
So
okay,
anyway,
so
Shooters Connection. Go, Jeff.
yes, Shooters Connection is the sponsor of today's show. So thank you, Shooters Connection. If you have been in the sport for any amount of time, you know Shooters Connection. I know when I first got into the sport, you're just like Googling around trying to find places to buy stuff, and Shooters Connection is one of the first places that pops up. They have like pretty much anything you could want for shooting competition. Like they got the timers, the pacers. They've even got like full guns. They got tons of gun parts. Anything you could need. So one-stop shop, Shooters Connection. Great supporter of the sport, and they are a sponsor of today's show. We will have a link in the description if you want to use the link to support the podcast, support Shooters Connection. That helps us out a lot. So appreciate that very much. Y'all have anything to add on Shooters Connection?
No, they helped out this year and the past couple of years for the main state championship match a ton, like so much stuff, and like stage sponsor in it as well, and I don't know, super good guys. Always willing to help the sport, and honestly, like that's the place to go to get stuff. Mostly targets, because that's what you need, but everything else as well.
Yeah,
Yeah,
that's
for
what I was looking for this year. Had to went through them to get some targets. But yeah, they do say they sponsor over 100 of USPSA matches a year. So that's pretty incredible.
That means they're sponsoring 2 matches at like literally every weekend of the year. That's crazy.
Yeah. That's pretty wild.
That's a lot of matches.
So thank you, Shooters Connection.
Yes, sir.
Okay, so this question has been lingering on the Discord because I've been saving it for Jay. Been waiting to have Jay on. I think there's probably some other ones here directed towards Jay. But this one, which was asked on Tuesday, meaning February 22nd, 2022, which I think was a Tuesday. So the question from I Like Turtles is, what does visualization mean to you? Do you do it in training or just at matches? What are some areas where a lot of people could improve in visualization? So there's like 3 parts to that. Simplest part first. Is it something you do in training or just at matches?
I do it in training and matches. Yeah.
Right.
Super simple. Got to be both for me. Yeah.
Right. Okay, so now let's get into the meat of the question. What does visualization mean to you? And we can all answer this, but I'm going to let Jay answer first.
Man,
because he's going to have the best answer.
I don't know, but it literally, like, to me, it means everything. Like if I couldn't, and I know this, it looks different for everybody who does it, but like if that's like the key part to anything happening in my life now, or even and specifically in shooting, like without that, nothing happens according to plan because there's no plan. So like that is the programming phase for me for anything I do. And like I use it in everyday life. I use it to be like to attempt to be a good dad. Like this stuff is programmed ahead of time when I have an opportunity to do it. And that's like through visualization. Yeah.
Mhm. Right.
Interesting.
So yeah, visualization is just it's the forethought and the planning and the just being intentional
Yeah.
essentially.
It's like yeah, when there's an opportunity to plan for something, then I'm gonna picture what that's gonna look like before it happens.
Mhm.
You get to experience things before they happen, and then like make corrections before they even become problems, and um, yeah, it's like it's powerful stuff.
Okay, so walk me through like what to what degree do you utilize visualization? Geez, that was really rough to say.
I
On
know
like
I've been just saying programming now because it's just easier to say.
on like a day where you're gonna train, like there's some degree of visualization that's gonna happen during that training period, before that training period, possibly after that training period.
Mhm.
Like, what do you think that looks like for you?
Yeah, I mean, like as soon as I know I'm gonna go like live fire, or I mean live fire or dry fire, whatever. I kind of know what that session's gonna look like, and so that's more like visualizing and kind of imagining how I'm gonna feel and like what I'm gonna be working through, and kind of it's programming my attitude basically, and for
Mm.
training, so that I go in kind of like focused with my eyes like open and just paying attention. And so because if I go and train, I can go and shoot and not pay attention and then not learn anything, um, or train or like dry fire and just dry fire and not learn anything. So all that like visualization, it doesn't take long. It's just like, all right, it's like just a set ahead of time. I'm going there. I'm focused, and I'm learning.
Hmm.
So it's a little bit like that's where like the visualization part, like the word doesn't necessarily fit. Um, but
Yeah,
so it's kind of tricky. But
yeah, because I could say right away, like what you just defined as visualization is not what most people think of as visualization.
yeah,
Yeah, I mean, so that sounds more like you're like almost meditating yourself into the mindset that you want for training.
yeah, yeah. I think I'm lumping it all together into
Okay.
one kind of thing. Um, but yeah, I think people probably generally think of it as like specific things on a stage that you're like visualizing yourself doing. Um, and I think it can go beyond that. Not that it's any more complicated, but it's just yeah, yeah.
So is this? I mean, does this take a certain amount of like time? Like, so you got to like set aside like 5-10 minutes, or is
No,
this more just kind of like you just doing it throughout the day as you're doing other stuff?
yeah, it's like thinking, but if you yeah, it's like when I'm doing other stuff. I don't even have You don't even have to close your eyes or anything like that. I think it's more powerful if you do, but yeah, it's just through everyday life going along.
Interesting.
Because you can have your eyes open and still picture things, and which
Yeah.
is the weird part, you know.
Yeah, which gets kind of dangerous for myself. Like
Yeah, driving
when
is
you're
nuts.
like, yeah, you're like driving and like you're looking down the road, but you're not really like looking down the road. You're like looking at something else that you're visualizing.
Yeah,
Uh,
yeah,
yeah.
it's weird.
So how did like? I mean, so like you're using this. I mean, this isn't just like you're visualizing stage plans. Like you're using this throughout your whole life. Like, is this like so? How were you introduced to that? Like, or was like this is like you had? Did you have like a mentor that was like, hey, yeah, you should try this and do this, or you just kind of like how did you get to this point?
I mean, a ton of it was from listening to Steve Anderson's podcast, and hearing him talk about like visualizing your stage plan, and then I was just like, okay, cool, like I need to do that. But then I remember one time he said something about like he just applied it to like going to the grocery store or something like that with a list, and like if you don't have a list or something, you're in the grocery store, you're like wandering around in aisles and stuff. And then I don't know if he was specifically applying it to life, but it was just like, well, that it makes sense to program something ahead of time when you have an opportunity to do it. So then it's just more predictable and way, way more efficient. I think that's the
Yeah.
piece. Because I know, like, if I go into a task where I haven't come up with like a specific kind of like route through the task, then it's all over the place. It's just not efficient. I'll go like do other things that aren't related to the actual goal. And I think that just then applies to like really directly to a stage. Like if you don't specifically program really important pieces into your stage plan or like into your visualization before you shoot a stage, then like whatever you get is just, who knows what. Like you can't predict it. So if
Yeah.
you can predict what's going to happen through visualization, then you're like way ahead of the game and your consistency goes way up too. So it's just,
Yeah.
yeah, it feels totally normal for it to be like throughout everything in life. And I know everyone does it too, but it's probably just like a subconscious thing that people do, where they're just like, I'm going to get in my car and drive to the store. And then, there's a really quick, when they say that or think it, they're in the car, they're driving to the store,
Yeah. Okay,
Right.
so I mean, to put this in more context like doing it like as a life discipline, like that actually sounds kind of interesting. Like maybe I'd be more productive in the shop. Like before I enter the shop every day, like, hey, I got to fit a grip safety and a thumb safety and do a trigger job today. I can't do all that in one day, but because I'm slow. But like maybe if I visualize how that's all gonna go, then like maybe it would be more efficient. Maybe I want to try that tomorrow.
Yeah. Yeah. And it doesn't have to like take a ton of time. That's the thing. Like you can flash through a ton of images in your mind so super, super fast.
Yeah.
And then you're like done, you know?
Yeah.
So like to put it in more
Interesting.
context for like what most of our listeners are kind of hoping for, like first stage, you're like you walk into a match, like you walk the stages the day before, let's say, like it, but then
Yeah.
it's like your first stage of the match. So like when does like the visualization start? Like what does that kind of look like for you?
Yeah. It probably starts in the pre-walk, like day before if I'm walking stages. And then like when I get onto the stage, that's where like I know it really well. And so at that point, most of the details probably been sorted out. Like I'll go through on the walkthrough, pick up some more detail on like where my feet need to be, what a movement needs to look like. If there's like a wide transition or something where like my body needs to do something.
Mm-hmm.
So like early on, and I've had some great conversations with people, but like early on, just a ton of detail. And then as I get closer to shoot, like all the detail just like falls away. Like so then that those last few visualizations before I shoot are literally just like specific points that I'm gonna look at. So it's just like a flash image of the point that I'm looking at. Maybe it's like a fault line on the ground, and then it's the target with a specific point I'm gonna look to on that. Next target, magwell for a reload, point on the ground, target, super, super simple. And I think Mason Lane has talked about that a little bit as well, but that just like your visualization ideally just becomes like spot, 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 and then it's just simple to memorize. Like it gives you confidence in it because you can just run through.
Right.
So that's what it looks like for me.
Interesting. So like are you visualizing any sort of like as far as like mechanics of fundamentals or like how you're going to grip the gun, like like do you cycle through any of that stuff or is it mostly just literally a visualization?
I will do that stuff, but early on. So
Okay.
like right, after I walk the stage, then I'll feel the grip without feeling the grip, like
Mhm.
you that sensation and coming in and some stuff with the trigger if there's some shots that require some like more discipline there. That kind of stuff. But like that happens early on.
Okay.
But yeah, all the detail early on, and then like it just like drops off.
Interesting. I like it.
Jeremy, you answer.
So visualization is something I had really kind of gotten lazy on like the past few years. And part of that was, J Beal left. Maybe hopefully his phone. Hopefully he'll be back.
Yeah, probably
Um,
back.
but so my experience like with visualization, like going back to like my music career days, like to be able to play something like on a trumpet. So basically what makes the noise is your lips vibrating. Like that's what changes like the different sounds and stuff. And so in order like and when you're playing and you're trying to play at a high level, like you have to hit those notes perfectly like from the get-go. Like there's no scooping into them or anything like that. And so the only way to do that is you have to be able to hear the melody. You have to be able to hear whatever you're playing like in your head before you actually try to play it. If you can't hear it in your head, like if you can't hear those intervals, if you can't hear the rhythm, like if you can't do that, then you have no chance. Like you're not going to be able to do it. And so like that was huge on how to like on being able to play and perform well. Um and so like I think that's the same thing with shooting, that you need to be able to like if you need to be able to do that. I kind of got away from it a little bit sometimes because like I would find myself like the visualizations would almost like ratchet up some of like the anxiety or stress of needing to shoot a stage. And like so it's like if it's making me stressful, like I probably not gonna do that. Um and so I kind of just stopped doing it. Well, I actually kind of think I should have what I should have been doing is just continue to do visualizations until like the confidence came back. Because I noticed like at Bighorn, wasn't doing a lot of visualizations in the morning. I mean, yeah, you do kind of just like real simple, like, hey, where are all the targets? Like, do I know where all the targets are at? And that was kind of like the extent of it. But even like in those visualizations, like there was like this doubt that's like creeping in my head. It's like, okay, if you're having a doubt, like you're not trusting like how you're gonna shoot this stage, like when you're just doing the visualization, like there's no chance you're gonna be able to like shoot confidently when you're actually shooting. And so I was like, okay, so I kind of like, okay, middle of that match is like I am going to like I'm just going to keep running the stage in my head and keep doing these visualizations over and over until like I can get through it like confidently like multiple times in a row and that there's no doubt that it's going to go well. I can't say that like this from then on like the rest of the match was like perfect, but I would say like it got quite a lot better through that. And so I'm definitely using a lot more visualizations in practice in dry fire because that's a skill that I like. Jay is obviously like he has developed a skill of programming things. Like, and I like that's not a skill that I don't think you're just going to, oh, I'm just going to start doing that more often now. And like you're going to be good at it right away. Like, no, I think that's going to be a skill that's going to require that you practice it. So like for it to be effective for you at matches, like I think you need to be practicing that in practice.
Yeah.
And uh, that's not something that I was the opposite of Jay is that I had access to ammo. And so it's like, so I'd be on a practice range, like I could visualize this and do runs visualizing, or I could just load these mags and just go shoot it. Like, so why not just go shoot it? I don't need to visualize it. Well, that's good in theory until you get to a match and like you need to do that run on command right that one time. And so all you can do is visualize it. And it's like, well, I haven't practiced that. So maybe so those visualizations weren't real effective. Um, so I'm trying to incorporate more and more of that into my actual practice and dry fire practice.
No, that's pretty cool. And you, part of that is you're getting like when you go, if Jeremy's been going live on Instagram, and like that like forces you to be like, well, I better be prepared to shoot this stage.
Mm-hmm.
So that's kind of cool. I've never done that before. Seems like it's good.
Yeah, like
maybe more than like a match. That maybe you feel more pressure there than you do a match on stages sometimes.
oh, for sure. I mean, like I've done it twice. I've done it twice now. And so so what Jay's talking about, like I'm setting up basically a stage because I can leave walls set up, target stands all out. So for me to set up a stage, like I literally just have to hang targets and maybe move some target stands or something. So I can set up a stage really easily. I can't shoot matches really easily, so I need that pressure. Like I need pressure to have to perform on a run, because I can't get that real easily. So it's like, okay, well, I'll record my cold runs and I'll use Instagram and go live on it. So like people are watching it as I'm doing it. Like there's no option of deleting it. Like it's live. Like you have to, like you can't, if you just record your cold run and you're going to post it later, like you can delete, like if it goes bad, you can delete it. Right. There's no deleting this. And so like I've done it twice and the performance hasn't been good. Like the last time, like I dropped some mags like in the middle of it, like I literally picking up mags. I'm in practice and I'm picking up dirty mags with dirty rounds on it and cramming in my gun. And like,
dude, it was you picked up that mag off the ground so quick though. It was crazy.
I mean, like, yeah, I mean, like when it happened, I wanted to stop so bad because, like, normally in practice, I would. It's like, dang it, like this is going like, and it's going live. People are watching. It's like, so I had to pick it up, and it changed my stage plan. So like, I was like, it forced me into like, okay, if I pick this mag up, okay, that leaves me enough rounds I can finish the stage from there without like, so like, it really put me in a very much a match scenario, and so like that is really good. But it's also forcing me to like I've got to figure some things out, like and it's getting like it's exposing problems that I've had in matches, which is
That's cool.
which is what that's what I needed. That's what I need. So I'm gonna hopefully keep doing those. And yeah, and the visualization part is really important to that because you gotta, yeah, people are watching. So I hope people like that first time I did it, like the first time I didn't think there was gonna be, I thought, oh yeah, I'll get a little bit of pressure, but not a ton. That first time I get it, dude, it felt like the first stage at nationals.
Mm-hmm.
Because it's like, man, there are people watching. And that, I mean, there was like maybe 10 people watching. There wasn't a lot, but there were people watching. So if you guys see that I'm gonna go, I'll try to post on Discord, hey, I'm gonna go live in a little bit. So then be on Instagram, you'll see I go live. If you want to ratchet up the pressure, like as I'm like walking through the stage and I'm talking to the screen, like make comments. Like Jay made a comment, like the pressure's on. It's like, dadgummit, somebody actually is like it's not like somebody actually is paying attention. Which like, so if you want to make the pressure go up and see if I can bomb, then like yeah, make a bunch of comments and then I'll really know that the pressure's on. So
all right, Jeff,
yeah.
you answer the visualization question.
Okay.
What's it mean to you?
Well, first off, I'd say visualization I do way more at matches probably, as far as visualizing like in the moment, like what I'm about to do kind of deal. I'll do way more at matches, but yeah, I also do it in training. So I want to start with like for newer shooters, like you've only been in it like maybe a year or whatever, like at the bare minimum visualization of a match, you should be able to close your eyes and shoot the match or shoot the stage that you're on. You should be able to close your eyes and navigate that stage, see every target, and shoot it where you want to. That's what I do. I think it's a bare minimum. You can't be thinking about where you're supposed to be going once the timer goes off because you will forget. So start with that. What does visualization mean to me? I mean, it's like Jay said, it's programming, and I'm really just going to speak to it in a shooting sense, or how it relates to the sport. But yeah, it's just programming. It's it's thinking about your cues before you hit them. It's thinking about what that position is going to look like when you get there. And then, I mean, I do stuff very similar to Jay as far as like on a stage from what he was saying. You know, when you first get out there, you're very detailed. You're very like, this position, I want to make sure I set up with this foot over here and set up very wide, slightly facing this way. You know, I want to make sure that I'm going to hit that position right. And you're like super detailed. And then, you know, you program it, you get it all very fine tuned, and then you kind of start backing off on the detail. Um, and now by the end of it, you're just like, you're kind of screaming through the visualization by the end of it. But it's like you just have the key points where like, okay, I need to hit these 3 points, and I will have been able to see every target on the stage. Basically, it'll be like I'm gonna go here, and to get to that position, I'm gonna see this thing. Once I see the edge of this target, I know I'm in position, and then once I finish this target, I'll be looking to this spot, and I need to see this one thing, and then I'll know that I'm in that position. So yeah, that's the way it kind of gets dumbed down towards the end of my visualization. It gets super detailed, and then towards the end, it's dumbed down. It's go here, see this thing, that's how I know. Go there, see that thing, that's how I know. Finish there, kind of deal. That's kind of what it means to me at matches. You know, in practice, visualization happens, but not near as focused. And I don't know how much meat is on that bone for as far as gains. I'm sure there's some, just as far as being like the mental toughness and being able to feel things out mentally. But I mean, when it comes to like stage plans and being able to do what I want to do when the timer goes off, I mean, I'm pretty good at that, so I don't worry about that too much. Now there was a point where, and I kind of had a turning point in visualizations, and this was actually kind of what Jeremy was talking about, how he's kind of like drifted back the other way as far as doing more visualization. I think this was actually, again, we're going to talk about when Jeremy and I like roomed together at 2019 Nats. We had this talk, and I had talked to Jeremy, and I was like, yeah, I've been doing great the last year or so, but every match I go to, I bomb a stage, and I can't figure out what's going on. And he recommended like just take some of the stress off yourself by visualizing less. Like once you get a plan, just forget about the stage for a while. Like don't visualize it every time someone goes to shoot. Don't turn around and visualize it 10 times. Because then by the time you get up there, your brain's fried. Like you've run that stage 50 times. So I started doing that, and that actually did help me a lot, just to kind of keep the stress level down and be able to execute my plan. I don't know, something about running it over too many times in my head had a very negative effect.
I think that could be like, because the last part of that question is like, what do you think people do wrong in visualization? And it could be like, I know for me, it was a lot of stress if I kept all of the detail all the way through. And so like, if you're like visualizing so hard with so much detail, you're just like, oh man, like it's just too much. And so like, I think you can visualize too much with too much detail all day long, and it's overwhelming. And if you let go of that detail, like, I mean, yeah, Jeff, you explained it well, but yeah, letting go of that detail, it's just it's so simple that it's like not much effort, and it feels good. It works.
Yeah, and I mean, like mentally, you can't stay on. Like if you're shooting an all day match, like you can't stay on mentally like that all day, like and expect to
Oh yeah.
perform expect to perform at a really high level for those short bursts that we really need to perform at. You definitely got to have mental breaks in there. And I think
Yeah.
that's to me, like that is a learning curve for a lot of people, is like how much is not enough and how much is too much. And because maybe one day you may need a lot, like your focus may not be there, and you may need more visualization that day. Or maybe you need less because you're just tired, like you don't have the energy. And so to get the best performance that day, you need to cut it back and be as efficient, like Jay's talking about. Just use small cues and be as efficient as you possibly can.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think those were the main visualization things for me.
I will say, like Jay when he was talking about like visualizing like stuff in life, and you made kind of a comment that like, and yeah, it doesn't always go like to plan. I do think like the stronger, like if you visualize, program the stages really well, and then something goes wrong, like you tend to like, your panic level is less because you don't have to think about, you're not thinking about anywhere where the targets are. It's like, okay, just finish this task that I've had trouble with, and then you're immediately back on your program or your plan or your visualization or whatever. Like, so I think you can adjust and adapt to things going wrong. Like that live Instagram that I had where I dropped the mags on the ground. Like you can adapt to those things going wrong quicker on the fly. Because man, like the guys that are really good, and the guys that are doing really well at matches, like they still have bad stages, like, and they still have stuff go bad, but they are, man, they are able to mitigate the disaster. It's like they have something go wrong and they fix it, and they don't compound those things. And it's like, okay, yeah, that stage they were 15 to 20% off the pace of what they should have been, but they weren't 30% off. Like they didn't just donate 40 or 50 match points. They might have given up 15 or 20 match points, but not the huge swings that you see less experienced shooters do. And so like that's like, if you want to really do well at matches, like start doing that. Like start mitigating your mistakes in that way, and you can do really well.
Yeah. And I'll say another like mistake that I have made a lot is when you're visualizing something. Let's say like legitimately, I would probably do it 20 or 30 times there for a while. On a stage, I would run through it that many times. Is if you have something that you decide that you want to avoid doing, and you think about that thing you want to avoid doing for 20 or 30 times, it will inevitably happen. It's like, man, don't reload here. Don't reload here. Don't drop the mag because you need to pick up these two targets first and then reload. And like without a doubt, you're gonna drop the freaking mag, dude. So it's just something to be careful about. I honestly like don't have a fantastic like, once you've accidentally like programmed this thing to not think about it, like trying to undo that subconscious programming is quite challenging. I haven't really figured out a great way to do it other than to just try to think about doing it correctly and try not to think about what not to do.
Which it's so difficult. And it shows the power of it too, because as soon as you picture something, it's like it's in there.
Yeah.
So like you've got to be so intentional about like that first walkthrough and like the information that you're gathering, and you're just like, I'm doing these things.
Yeah, and I think that's why like your first walkthrough should be pretty slow, pretty methodical. You shouldn't like jump up there and immediately start running to positions, because like you make one little slip up and you step one direction like the first time you're doing it, and like you remember that, and you'll want to go do that again and again and again, and then you start thinking about it and you're like, okay, don't do that, don't do that, don't do that, and then you do it, right? It's like, don't think about a pink elephant. Yeah.
It's like the first walkthrough is like, been pretty intentional about this more recently, but just like I'm not even air gunning anything. I'm just like walking normally, looking at the targets, like, and then you build that detail in where you're like, then you're air gunning at stuff, and you're like getting your nice stance, and all that. And it just helps you be careful, because as soon as you start to bring out your air gun, man, you get like aggressive. It's like, yeah, the air gun stays holstered.
Yeah, that daggum air gun.
And I'll say, like, I think something that people can maybe do, like when you're in the actual stage walkthrough and you're able to get, like, you have your 5 minutes that you're on the stage, don't necessarily just stay in the Congo line and just walk it. Like, walk it a couple times so that you like get to where you're familiar enough with stuff is, and then step back and try to do a visualization and see if there's something, like, because see if there's something that's missing in your visualization, like, oh, I don't quite know how big a step this is from here to here, or like how big a movement this is from there to there. So then you have something to go back and walk in and fix, because as soon as you can visualize everything in it, like Jay's talking about, as soon as you can visualize where your feet are all going, where all the targets are, like where your vision needs to go, as soon as you've done that, you don't really even need to walk the stage anymore at that point. So really the walkthrough, like those 5 minutes that you have, you can get familiar with it first, and then go back, and then you're using the walkthrough to confirm your visualization. Like I think that might be something for some people to try, because some people feel like they just got to stay in that Congo line and just keep walking things as many times as you can, and that's another way to wear yourself out physically. So like if you got an all-day match, like the less time that you can actually be on your feet walking stuff, like, all the better.
Yeah. Yeah, it's the same with, like, there's, like we were saying, if you're doing 20 visualizations on every stage and trying to keep all those details in every visualization, dude, like 6-7 stages in, and you're feeling it mentally. It is taxed.
Yeah.
That's
well, we were going to like knock out a whole bunch of questions, and we talked about eating 36 eggs, and we got one listener question in, and we're an hour and 23 minutes in. So
yeah, there needs to be some like person whose job is just to like keep on track. It's obviously not any of us.
It's definitely not me. Like there's definitely not me.
We need to do a speed round. We used to do speed rounds.
That's do it.
Where it's just like, we'll have a timer. It's like, you have 30 seconds to answer this question, and we'll just like run around.
Yeah.
That's what we should do.
That'd be a good idea. We need to have
that should actually become like a normal segment of the show. Speed rounds.
Yeah.
Because then people will be like, well, I'm not going to ask questions because they never get to it. So now,
Yeah.
Now they can know that they can freely ask questions because it's going to happen in the speed round.
Yeah,
that's true.
There's legit like 20 questions in this queue.
Okay, so let's do. Okay, Jeff, you're gonna pick 3 questions, and we're gonna do a speed round on those questions.
Okay.
Let me get my timer up.
What?
Let me get my timer up so that I can time people.
Knock out. I'm not gonna make some of these long questions.
No, you're gonna have to pick
rounds.
3 appropriate ones. Put you on the spot to try to figure it out right now. Okay, Jay, while he's figuring out those questions, I got like, so Jay has started something here recently that we got to ask him about. Like, okay, he's like started, like, normal people, I don't know if this, maybe it's because he lives in Maine. Like, normal people, like, they bathe and like they take baths, and like most people like warm water or hot water or something like that. And Jay has started like taking these like ice baths like daily, which I always thought, like, people that did that, okay, like, you see people that are like they're trying to reduce like lactic acid buildup because they've been like doing a lot of hard workouts and stuff like that. But I don't think that's what you're using these ice baths for.
No, not at all. a friend of mine got me into it, and it's crazy. So I'm doing it for the mental benefits, but dude, there are like, I'm like only scratching the surface on like the amount of the benefits that I'm getting just elsewhere in my life. But so like getting into cold water, like right when you wake up, is the last thing that you want to do. Like definitely, I do not want to do that. So, and like if you think about like, okay, this water, it's like 40-degree water. I'm gonna like submerge my whole body in it. It's like not what I want to do right when I wake up. And so probably means that's exactly what I should do. So I'm doing this, and
Maybe.
and what happens is like I'm not like, I don't think you get used to the cold. Like it's still cold. But your body is immediately goes into that like fight or flight kind of response. So it's like initially first few times I was like, I'm gonna get out right now. Like I'm out. Um, and now what happens is if you like settle into it, the amount of stuff I'm learning about just taking control of my mind and my breath and staying in, and it's amazing how calm you become in the cold. Like the water stops being cold and it's just water. And not initially, right when you get in, it's cold. But so here's how this carries away really quick. Is it as far as like things that come out in the day, like whether they're in training or like as a parent, like they come up, and I've just done the hardest thing I'm gonna do that day by like deciding to get really cold immediately when I wake up. Everything is easy. So like I feel in control, like mentally, no matter what, like everything I'm in control. And it was not like that prior to where I'm starting. Like I was okay with it, but like there was that little bit of out of control piece where you're like, what am I gonna do here? And I know exactly what to do now. That's just the mental benefit, I think, and there's some other stuff too. But,
That's very fascinating. I don't know anybody else that has done that from that approach. Jeff said something about like just turning cold water on the shower. Maybe
yeah,
I don't have a big bucket.
that's the place, because that's still powerful. the the other thing is like right when I get out, and I knew this ahead of time, so I knew it was going to happen. But but it happens to everyone. Like you get out of the water, and at a certain point in the water, when you adapt to the cold, you get out and you're like huge wash of emotion, like joy, like, and that's because your body. I mean, it's the same. Like you're releasing hormones when you're in there, and it's like huge wash of joy, like when right there. And it's like amazing, and you feel like great. It's just man, everybody should do it. Like turn on the shower. Like initially it's gonna kind of suck for like 10 seconds, but like give yourself the opportunity to take control of your breathing and just feel the water. It's powerful stuff.
I'm gonna do that this week. I don't know if I'm gonna take my entire shower be cold, but I'm gonna
No, you're like
part
10
of
seconds.
it's gonna be cold.
Yeah, just do like the last 15 to 30 seconds.
Like before you get out, like make yourself good and cold before you get out of the shower.
Yeah.
It's the guy who's like done a ton of it is Wim Hof, the Iceman, who has done a ton of crazy stuff in the cold. And it's inspiring to watch kind of his stuff, and he has all like there's been some research behind it. So anyway,
that's fascinating. I'll try it. You've guaranteed I'll have a better performance at nationals if I do it. So I'm gonna do that until nationals.
it's 100% guaranteed.
There we go.
100%. Yeah, if you can find the video of Wim Hof talking about how he started cold exposure,
Yeah.
That is a crazy video, and you'll probably like cry. It's intense.
Jeff, you should link that into the show notes.
If I
You should
can
find it.
find it, maybe I will.
Yeah.
We'll see. I don't know how difficult this one's gonna be to
Who knows? This
edit.
show
Anyway,
ever appear to the public? Who knows?
It might not.
yeah, this one might be one for the locker. Who knows?
You got questions for our speed round?
Yeah, sure.
All right. Jay, you're going to answer the first question first.
Okay.
And then Jeff, and then I'll answer.
Well, these are 1911 questions. What percent of the sport do you think is mental, and how do you train the mental game? What percent of training should be devoted to the mental game?
That's tricky, but I think I'll take something that someone else has said. So I think that your classification percentage is the amount of time that should be dedicated to the mental game. And well, no, hold on. Your percentage of your classification is how much of the sport is mental to you. And I think you should take your mental training just as serious as you do your physical training.
Jeff.
What percent of sport do you think is mental, and how do you train the mental game? I think 70% is mental. And I think you should train the mental game intentionally.
Yeah, that's
what percent of training should be devoted to the mental game? That is not going to be what I do, but I don't know. I don't know.
You're out
that's
of time.
too hard.
You're out of time. I think they're almost both, like, they're two separate things. Like, you can't mental your way into, like, if you don't have good shooting skills, like, you have to have good, like, the physicality has to be there. It's like you can't mental your way into that. At the same time, like, you can have all the shooting skills, if your mental game is crap, like, you're not gonna perform well. So, like, they're almost, I can't, they're almost two different things that you have to mesh together, is kind of how I'm gonna say that. How do you practice it? Take ice baths.
Yes.
And then, like, actually practice your mental game in practice. I'll say the one thing that I've, like, Tiger Woods, the one
What do
thing
you get,
that he
like 30
does,
seconds? You get like 30 seconds? Is that
Yeah.
what you get?
Yeah.
Well, you're way up. Your time is up.
I gave you way more time. Tiger Woods will, like, he will never say something bad about himself on the golf. Like, he may get upset with himself, but he will never say something bad about himself. And, like, that's something I have to do, like, way better at. Like, I often, like, will put myself down, and that's not, like, your self-image matters. I'm done.
Nice.
Okay, I'm not gonna take that one off the list because we didn't answer that very good. We'll
Hey,
answer it again later.
Great answer. I think that person's satisfied right now.
Yeah, he's good.
What's the etiquette for squatting at a major match? Oh, crap. If you don't know anyone, is it cool to just jump on a squad of people you don't know?
Depends who those people are. That's my answer.
Okay.
No.
Jeremy?
Yeah, keep going.
Yeah, I think so. Like, if you're traveling by yourself, you don't know anybody, like, for me, like, I will look for the squads with the best shooters on it, and I will try to get on that squad if I can.
Yeah. Yeah, I'm saying, yes, you can jump on any squad. And you can jump on any squad, and yeah, kind of like Jeremy said, I mean, for me personally, you whoever's asking this might be different, but I like trying to find the people, either people I know which if I don't know anybody, then I just try to find the people that I know are going to take it seriously on that day, which are generally the people with higher classifications.
Yeah, that's a great answer. People that you know you're going to be able to have fun around and like enjoy
Yeah.
and usually that's people that take it seriously.
Yeah. Okay, taking that one off the list. Good job, fellas. Is a backup gun necessary for majors?
Yes, definitely is. I think so. At least backup parts for basically enough parts to build another gun, so you might as well have two.
Mm-hmm.
If you're gonna be committed to the sport and you're gonna travel in majors, you're gonna travel nationals, stuff like that. If you don't have a backup gun, you need to be working your way to that. Because like if you go to a match and you got gun problems, you have something that breaks, like you need to be able to keep going and keep shooting. And so yes, I have a practice gun and a match gun. And the match gun doesn't see a lot of rounds in practice.
Yeah.
I did not have a backup gun for like the first 2 years, I think. Maybe 3 years. Yeah, I think it was like 3 years. Yeah, I never had a backup gun. But you know, you want to make sure you QC hardcore, check everything all the time. Lots of spare parts, like Jay said. And if you can, just get a backup gun because that solves a lot of problems. But yeah, I shot the first 3 years, no backup gun. Never broke anything. Okay. We done with that one?
Yep.
Done? One
Done.
more?
One more.
Does your backup gun differ at all from your match gun?
Yeah, my backup gun is not exactly the same. It's so hard to get like Glocks that are like stamped parts to be identical. So like the trigger's a little different. But actually Jeff and I talked about this one time. It's just not the same. And it bothers me to a certain extent, but whenever I've shot it, it doesn't. I don't care. So yeah, it's different, but man,
You said at one point that you would like piece together your match gun.
yeah, sometimes like honestly, I'll like take the part that that's what we were talking about. I'll take like this. I only have one of these connectors, and I really like it, and so like I'll put it in my match gun when I'm ready to go to a match with that gun.
Okay, yeah.
And I'll practice with it. So
Hey, yeah, that makes sense. Yeah, my guns are different. One of them's actually like an old stock Canic, and one of them's a newer stock. So the old stock one doesn't drop mags as well, and it's just, I think there's a couple other like minor differences, but it's a little bit different. And I also did silicon carbide on my grips, and one of them's a little fatter than the other one. So the one that doesn't work as good is my dry fire gun. And then, you know, every third or fourth session, I'll dry fire with the match gun, something like that. And then I kind of like Jay, like I have a match firing pin. Like I put my match firing pin in, and then I have a dry fire firing pin that has no pin on it. It's just like the mechanism. So I'll put that in my gun when I'm dry firing.
that's actually a good idea because then you can't accidentally set anything off either. So
Yep.
Yeah, and that's common. Like people figure out what works. I mean, ideally, the ideal correct answer is that yes, your practice gun and your match gun are exactly the same. In practice, like that often doesn't happen. If you're gonna shoot a division like open or something like that, where like you've got like your loads are really specific to how your comp is set up and all that, then like having your guns be the same, like it matters more, I think. My guns are functionally basically the same, but like cosmetically I can easily tell them apart. There are some differences. Like you can't put. I mean, Jay is never going to put 50,000 rounds on a gun the way he's going. But like you can't put 50, 60, 70,000 rounds on a gun and then have a gun that only has 10,000 on it. Like they wear and they start to feel and they shoot different. Triggers feel different after 50,000 rounds and 100,000 dry fires. So get them close enough that like there's like maybe you can tell a difference, but it's not going to functionally be a problem.
Yeah. Yeah, I mean, do everything you can to make them the same, I would say, because you'll use both of them. You don't want to just like have a backup but never use it. Like try to like spread the wear between them so they both last longer. But you don't want to have like if you're shooting a 1911, don't have one with like a flat mainspring housing and one with a curved.
Yeah, that'd be
just stuff like that. Like make them feel as close to the same as you can.
Yeah, have like the same, like at a 1911, have the same grip panels on both guns type deal. Same sights, right? Like I don't want to have like drastically different, like a 100 thou front sight on one and 120 thou front sight on another. Like that's not going to be great.
Yeah, like you could probably make it work, but it's not ideal.
Yeah. We definitely went overboard on that one. All right, guys. Jay, I really appreciate you coming on. I really enjoyed this conversation. I hope this video makes it to the public.
I hope so. I hope so. Man, that rapid fire was like so efficient.
Yeah.
Good.
It hurt my soul.
Thanks for having me back on. This is a lot of fun. I don't even it's late, but who even cares? We'll think about that tomorrow.
Exactly.
Yeah, I'll think about that very early tomorrow.
Right. That's exactly right. All right. We need Jared to say something about stopping recording and
was there anything we needed to say at the end here?
Oh, like, comment, subscribe, do all that stuff. Join our Discord.
Yeah, they've already those people have already turned it off by now.
Yeah. I think everybody's turned it off by now.
The only people watching right now are the people that are part of the Discord community.
You're right. Right.
Yeah. Oh, shout out to GX Products. He's wearing his hat, Leif's hat.
Yeah, his hats are awesome.
And shout out to go look at Steve Anderson and his sponsors because they're also shared with mine as well. So check out those people. Before
yeah.
do it and says like, "Hey Jay, you didn't mention me." It's okay. Don't get up. I did, but you have to listen all the way to the end.
That's right. Yeah, if he says something, you say, "Well, hey, you didn't listen to the whole show."
Yeah.
All right. Later.
Oh, stop recording, damn it.